Hey guys! Hang on a sec. I'm gonna try to move that. There we go. Now we're full screen. Um, so first off, apologies, but not really. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get the next episode of Scarlet Hollow gameplay up before Christmas. I'm going to try, but Keith has um the next Keith has Christmas Eve day, Christmas, and then I think the day after Christmas off. I think so. Anyway, so that'll be fun. Hopefully, I might try to record some gameplay tomorrow, but it totally depends on when we get um hang on, he's texting me. Let me see, cuz I just asked him. He says no problem. Nice. So, um I might be able to do it tomorrow. Depending, we are going out to lunch, I believe, with his parents. Um, so that'll be fun. But I don't know if that's Christmas Day or if that's Christmas Eve. So I guess we'll see on that. I'll let you guys know. Um, Still haven't, but I can't remember if I told you guys. I got an account um for Instagram. I haven't yet posted anywhere on it. So we're still working on that, but anyway, um so what I've been doing today is um cuz I think I showed you guys Keith got me a wireless keyboard and a wireless mouse to make things a little bit easier. Um, but he also came home yesterday. I can't really show you because I just got done cleaning off the counter and putting it in place. But he got me a crock pot, a little one, little crock pot, but now I can make like chili and soup and chicken noodles and all that kind of stuff. I'm like really excited about it because there's a lot of recipes in my recipe book that I haven't been able to cook yet because it kind of requires, putting ingredients in a cooker and letting it cook for a while. So, but I am excited because he he brought that home yesterday, and he was like, it was 15 pounds. It was on sale, 15 pounds, which, in my opinion, is a fantastic deal. And so he apparently saw it and was like, I wonder if Julie would like this. And so he brought it home for me, and I've been cleaning. There were a stack of dishes and stuff, so I've been going through all that. That's the other reason why I haven't even attempted to do gameplay today, was because I can't really show you guys, but there was like a whole but there were like a whole bunch of baking pans, and there were some platter sized plates um that had stuff stuck to them, so it's been taking me a little while to get everything scrubbed up, and then I just put them in because we don't have like a washer dryer. We don't have a washer dryer for dishes, so I just wash them in the sink and then put them in. We have a little drying rack. Cute little thing. I should show you guys sometime. But it's really kind of cool because, I just sit, and come over here, watch a video or two, or comment on videos. Matter of fact, I think I mentioned before that Random Encounters is one of my favorite channels, and I've watched them for like a really long time, and they do a lot of video game type musicals. Well, their magnum opus, or I don't know if it's the greatest video, but let me put it this way. They are, they did a Five Nights at Freddy's a few years ago, and they had like Markiplier on it, Nate Wants to Battle, Matt Pat was the surprise guest at the end, um, and stuff like that. And it was funny because for animatronics, they use puppets. So apparently, somebody out there made Five Nights at Freddy's hand puppets. So they have Bonnie, Chica, Freddy, Foxy. And then they have this other puppet who they called Springtrap, who is basically like, I don't want to spoil it. So we're going to go past that. If you haven't seen any of these videos, I highly recommend them. And the really nice thing is, they did the Five Nights at Freddy's and ended that. And then apparently a lot of people were like, what about the prequels? What about what happened before? And so they made a whole, I can't remember, like they would post each video individually. And just yesterday, they uploaded a full First Nights at Freddy's movie. So they have like everything. And they have like all the videos. They have all the movies. So far I've only think they've had to reshoot one because the original actress for one of the roles got sick and hasn't been able to do any work for a while. I hope she's doing okay. Um, but yeah, so she originally was, because he, you know, tell the story of Mike Afton, which is William Afton's son. Um, they do, and so, of course, after Michael Afton dies, his sister Elizabeth, or Lizzie, starts working at, I don't remember if it's Freddy Fazbear's still, if it's a Pete's Place at that point, or if it's like still Fredbear's Family Restaurant. That's another thing. I've been trying to keep up on the lore for this lore for the Five Nights at Freddy's, but I've never played the Five Nights at Freddy's game. Just because I don't like jump scare type games, I don't like games where all of a sudden it's like, ah, or boo or whatever. Loud noises and something jumping out at you from the dark. Not my jam. No, thank you. But so the other funny thing is, so they've again, I won't spoil it. I highly recommend you guys go and see it. You might be a little confused. But I will say that they're doing things a bit differently than the original lore. Like, the villain isn't who you think it is. And so I like that twist. That's very good. And so I'm also hoping, though, and so far they've added more scenes. Like, it's an actual movie. Like, they've added more scenes to link things together and stuff. So highly recommend. Random Encounters, called First Nights at Freddy's. I want to say Freddy Fazbear movie, but I could be wrong about that. It could just be Five Nights at Freddy's movie. But if you type in Random Encounters Snap, it should be the first thing that pops up. But yeah, so this is impressive. I haven't watched the whole thing. I watched about almost halfway, and then it was well, I gotta go, do some cleaning, because like I said, Keith is off for the next 3 or 4 days, so I'm okay, that's cool. So other than that, yeah, it's just, today is just slipping away from me like it's almost 2 p.m. over here, and I'm don't think I'm going to have time to do, especially not long play like I wanted to. So pay attention to the channel tomorrow, because hopefully I should have a video up for you. Fingers crossed. Because, like I said, I don't know when we're going out to eat with Keith's mom and dad, and I don't know, how long that's gonna take. Whatever. So, but he did tell me he didn't mind if I recorded. So, that's good. It's not like I wouldn't do it if he didn't mind, but, I'm still kind of a people pleaser at heart. Although I'm getting more confident, I'm getting more, it kind of helps to be by myself for a lot of the day, because then I'm oh, okay, I need to go do this, or I need to, I have the bag Keith got me, and I have all the debris from the box that the cooker came in, and a couple other things in here. I'm gonna take it down to the lowest floor, where we have a little place where you can put stuff like that. So we have big bins like you would see, outside, and or outside stores or whatever. The closest thing I can think of is when I worked at Casey's, and we had those big dumpsters, and we had to dump the trash in there at night before we locked up. So, but there's two different kinds. There's like a one for recycling, and then there's one for just kind of normal trash. And so that's all going down to recycling. I just gotta I've got my slippers on right now, and I just gotta get my regular shoes on. And yeah, so kind of excited about that. But I have to say, guys, I really am enjoying being over here. Like, it's fun. I don't know if fun's the right word, but for me, it's fun to, Keith and I have our own place, and it's just kind of to me to clean things, although Keith does help out occasionally and all that. And, like, I like how, we kind of have a routine where, like, he's at work right now, and he sent me a message that said, "Let me know if there's any shopping needed." And I'm like, "Okay, And he'll, because he passes right by like a grocery store, Sainsbury, on the way home. And so I'll usually either tell him on WhatsApp, or we have Alexa over here, and I will say, add such and such to my shopping list, and then he'll usually get whatever it is that either he or I put on it. It's very helpful because sometimes, like, I'll be cleaning or whatever, and I'll realize we're almost out of something, and then I'll be like, you know, I won't say her name because then she'll wake up, and she's probably listening to me right now anyway. But I'll say, "Hey, so and so, put bread on my shopping list," and she'll reply, and whatever. And so I really like that. It's like having a little assistant around the flat and everything. So it's nice. It's nice because, it's a small enough place. It doesn't really take that long to clean, but at the same time, it's nice because I've always been different. Like, my mom has always been the type of, we're going to get all the cleaning done, and then we can have fun. And then we can relax, or then we can go out, or then we can, whatever. Whereas my cleaning has always been, okay, we'll clean for a while, and then I'll come back and be on YouTube for a bit, or play a game for a bit, or read, or whatever, and then go back to it. And I think that helps, especially with the pain that I have to deal with, especially on my knee. Like, it it doesn't hurt to stand nearly as much as it used to, but then of course I'm not standing still like I used to when I was at work, and it was just standing in one spot, occasionally moving here and there, whatever. And so, it's nice. It's definitely very helpful, but I'm slowly getting this place to kind of where I want it, if that makes sense. Although it made me laugh because I originally sent Keith a picture because I told him last night, I said, I'm probably gonna look for a place try to find a place and make room for the crock pot. And he was like, okay, yeah, that works. So he sent me a picture. His reply back was something about my, because he had a pile of dishes and platters and baking pans and stuff. Like, he has a lot of baking pans. And so I was like, so number one, it made me chuckle because I imagine that his mom got him a lot of those, and stuff. But at the same time, I have been doing dishes probably for the last couple hours, off and on. So, but it's okay, and I enjoy doing it. I'm weird. I might be weird, but at the same time, like I said, I'm not living with my parents where it's like we have to get all the cleaning done on this day, no other day. You have to do this, da 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 da. And you can't even sleep in because we'll be starting doing this at 8 in the morning. Which, why? It's a Saturday. You should be sleeping or relaxing or reading or whatever. But no, both my parents are actually kind of like the type of let's get all the work done and then we can do the other stuff. Then we can relax and play or go out to eat or whatever. And it's like, I'm totally opposite. I do not even know where I got this from because, like I said, neither of my parents act like this. So I want to say I probably got it from either one of my grandmothers or maybe one of my great grandmothers was maybe like this. Or I'm just my own unique person and it's like, I'm different, But I've always been the type of, well, let's work for a little bit, then sit down and rest, especially since I have sometimes pain I have to deal with, and sometimes it hurts to stand for too long. So I'm like, okay, shuffle back over to my chair, sit down, watch a video or two, or whatever, or play a game, and I'll go back and do the rest of it. And I've already, again, wish I could show you guys, but I've already organized we have, I don't know if you guys can see. Okay. So, I can't really point to it, but that cupboard right there, not the first cupboard and drawer, but the second one. So the lower one, the one that opens this way, it's where Keith kept all the like frying pans, all the pots for cooking, all that. So I went through and I reorganized the whole entire thing. And kind of put the pot lids in one place and all that. So I think it looks a lot better now. It's may not actually stay organized, but I'm gonna do my best to try and make sure it stays organized. But yeah, and I don't know. I don't mind doing chores. I don't mind cleaning, but it's just being told I have to do it in a specific way and only a specific way that always drove me crazy. Because I was like, why can't I do it on my own? Or why can't I, like, I remember living at home with my folks, and I'd have to clean my room and the bathroom. And the problem with the bathroom is I'd have to get down on the floor and scrub the floor. And that just, it just got to the, so I would like do all my other cleaning. I would wipe everything down. I would spray everything with cleaner and clean it, scrub anything that I needed to scrub. And then usually I would want to take a break, rest a little bit, and then come back and do the exasperating part and get down the floor and clean the floor. Well, both mom and dad always didn't like that. They were always like, you need to get everything done at the same time. And I'm like, but I'm tired. My body hurts. I need to rest for a little bit and then I can go back and do it. So it's nice to have a place where there's just two of us, where I can clean when I want, how I want. And I don't have to worry about other people being like, but you need to be doing things this way and whatever. And also, we can have things a little disorganized around here. Because as Keith and I both say, it's not disorganized. We know where everything is. Well, except for the fact that we lost our television remote the other day, and Keith had to order a new one. I thought that was funny. Well, and what was funny is he didn't say anything to me. He just got up and started looking through piles and stuff, and I was like, what are you looking for? And he was like, the TV remote. Have you seen it? And I was, because last time it was like right over here. It was on the little desk area that I use. And so I started looking, and we came to the conclusion that we couldn't find it. And I even did some cleaning that the next day or whatever, and we still couldn't find it, so he ordered one. And so I thought that was kind of funny. It was like, well, of course. And then, he made a joke to me, watch, now that the new one's here, we'll find the old one. And not yet, but you never know, because I'm still, every once in a while, I get into like an organizing mood, and I'm like, okay, this needs to change, and this needs to go here, and this needs to be moved, and so you never know. I'll probably come across it one of these days, but I do really enjoy my life now. And I want to thank you guys for sticking with me for so long, for whether you're new, whether you just got here, or whether you've been here for a while. It kind of amazes me. I was thinking back the other day, remembering when I was living with my folks on the little cul-de-sac area in Urbandale, and I wanted to try making a Slenderman series. And it'd be interesting to go back and check the numbers on that to see the likes, because Slenderman And that whole legend has kind of had a resurgence. Um, I know I mentioned to you guys before, I watched this channel called Red Hat, and it's about this person who years ago did a whole video series about how how they would go and help people with their supernatural issues. They're basically like a detective. They would try to rid the get rid of the whatever was going on. And it turns out that about the time I don't think I'd seen the end of it, but I remember that Slenderman, the Rake, and something else. I don't remember what the third being was, but they all came together and went after this person. And so I think I stopped watching about that time. I don't remember why. But anyway, they're back. And they post a series called Red Hat. It's really good. It's kind of Slenderman series disguised as a travel vlog, because this person is a drifter. They go from place to place across the United States, and they at first were like, oh, I have to deal with this. They kind of had the mentality, of, oh, I have to deal with this myself. I can't let anybody get close to me because then, he'll attack or whatever. And I like the way they did this, but they basically, one of the person whose couch they crashed on slipped a notebook into their bag, and this character found it and was like, basically the person whose character crashed, the main character revealed, hey, I have this problem, and this other person revealed that Slenderman also, kind of hangs around and everything. And so, but anyway, this character then wrote down a bunch of names and stuff, and I'm assuming phone numbers and stuff like that, and was like, you're not alone. So many other people have been going through similar things as you. Here are their names and numbers. And I remember the video, and I'm gonna get a little teary eyed here because it was so cool. The character was reading through the book, and they look up at the camera and they're like, I've stayed with some of these people. I've, you know. And in one of their most recent videos, in the description, it lists all the main social media handles or the channels of the people. So Slenderman is getting to come back, baby. And I'm super excited about it. Because, back in the day during the heyday and all that, and then you know, I think it was around the time, well, they started to made media Slenderman, if that makes sense. Like they started trying to make movies and all that, and that didn't do very well, you know. And the movies didn't do very well, and then there was that issue like several years ago where the two girls tried to kill their friend to try and sacrifice them to Slenderman, and it's like that opened up a whole can of worms. For a while, it was almost like, yeah, we're not gonna talk about this subject for a while and see if it dies down. And it eventually did. It eventually died down, but like, I am really super excited that it's getting a resurgence. That and it's so cool. It's so neat. And so, but yeah. So, and again, and I'm sure you guys know, but none of that's real. None of that is, you know, none of that is a real thing or whatever. It's all pretend. It's all urban legend or so. Although I did hear an interesting theory. I was attempting to watch Nick Nocturne, who does Nightmind. He has a channel where he posts the edited versions of his streams, and he apparently did the one of the main OG series I didn't get to at the time, called the Tulpa Effect. And it brings up an interesting point, because it's like, it's kind of like the in the field of dreams, if you build it, they will come kind of thing. But it's kind of like, it kind of brings up an interesting philosophical thing, because you're kind of like, well, if you think about if so many people, because like they kind of died out of the public eye there for a while, Slenderman. And so I just wonder if, kind of brings something interesting, like if you think about him, if you think about, will he show up, kind of thing. And I kind of like that thought process, because it kind of, because when Victor Surge first came up with the concept on the Somewhere Rotten or Somewhere Horrible forums way back in the day, and it kind of, like, people started out on that forum. That's where it started. They made up stories, and Victor Surge made a couple of pictures with Slenderman in it, and that's what started the whole ball rolling before that. And so I also do find it interesting that in different areas of the world, he acts a little differently. If that makes sense. Like, oh gosh, I can't remember what they call him in German, but Gerdottem or something like that. Um, but yeah, and then it's like every person for a while there had their own little unique twists on them. Like Marble Hornets called him the operator. Um, had a little bit of different twist on him. Everyman Hybrid did more of a classic operator, but they started out differently with like, obviously a fake Slenderman, and then the real one shows up. It's like, yo, y'all summoned me. And then the one we're not going to talk about, Tribe 12, because of what happened with the dude who ran the show. That one I never really got into as much. It also seemed to be a bit more jump scary than the other two, if that makes sense. But yeah, and it was also a little confusing at times. Um but yeah, so basically there was that thing, and then they kind of took the ball and ran with it, and so many people had like a little twist on the character, a little twist on the being. It's like, oh, my Slenderman does this, my Slenderman looks like this. And I remember ML Anderson. I used to really like that one because it showed a a young man with with like mental health problems, and kind of heavily leaned into the summon Slenderman thing, or conjured up Slenderman from his head. But the thing was, there were two. There was one with Red Tie who would kind of be like kind of the bad version of an imaginary friend, if I remember right. And then there was the one with the black tie, who was the real OG, and you didn't really want to mess with him. And like, I also remember a lot of collaboration happened between a lot of the series. Like, they would meet each other. Matter of fact, I remember, what's the name of, I don't remember what it is, but they just recently started posting again. I want to say Darkfall, but I don't think. Oh, Dark Harvest. That's it. Dark Harvest used to post back in the day, and then they stopped, and they recently started posting again. And over the past few months and stuff. And so I just find that really interesting. It's like, you kind of sit on it for a while, you let it marinate, and then I remember opening up YouTube one day, seeing Dark Harvest in my recommended, and being like, what? They're back? And yeah, and they've made a few videos since then, and they're trying to continue the story, and I just find that really fascinating. I'm just like, oh. So it's very exciting for someone like me who was kind of around during the heyday. I got into it a little bit late, but at the same time, I remember, oh gosh, what was it called? Unfiction. Somebody actually made a forum style site called Unfiction, where you could talk about where you could talk about the different series and discuss things. And I remember even having like viewing parties where we would all like watch the latest video on our own. And then another screen we would have the forum, and we would be like, "Did you guys just see that?" It's like, you know. So I don't know. I'm just excited, and I guess I also kind of like Slenderman because he's kind of scary, but he's not. Like, I don't like movies or like horror movies with a lot of jump scares, with like a lot of blood, with a lot of guts and gore and stuff. And Slenderman stories don't tend to go that way for the most part, you know. I mean, occasionally it's like, you know, but they don't tend to show as much, or at least not the series that I've seen. You know, not you. But yeah, so I'm just very excited. It's very cool, and like I said, I love my folks, but on the other hand, I am so glad that I can like watch shows like that I can play games, that I can clean the way I want to, that I can do the things that I want to do, that not everything has to be perfect, you know. Yeah. So I'm just really happy. But yeah, so anyway, back to like I said, I'm going to try and record a gameplay video of Scarlet Hollow. I'm gonna try and continue with that. Um for you guys to watch over Christmas and everything. Over the holidays and Christmas, if you're gathering with family, and if you get to the point where you're like, I need a break, let me take my phone and lock myself in the bathroom for a while. I'll give you something to watch. I'll try my best. Hopefully I'll be able to get it done tomorrow. But yeah. So again, sorry you guys, but it kind of was one of those things where I was like, oh, I'll just slide this into place, and then realize there was a whole pile of stuff behind in the spot, and I was like, okay, what's all this then, and discovered I had a whole bunch of dishes to wash, but it's all okay. So anyway, I'm gonna upload this today, sometime. But yeah, I will let you guys know. And yeah, so anyway, if I don't get a chance, I'll try to say it tomorrow as well, but have a great Christmas, or if you don't celebrate, have a fantastic, what is tomorrow? Have a fantastic Tuesday and Wednesday. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for being with me, for hanging out with me. And I really appreciate you guys. I love you. And I will see you later.